the streets of Portland, Oregon, became his home. Every night, he curled up behind a closed-down hardware store, using his backpack as a pillow and the sound of passing cars as a reminder that the world kept moving, even when a person was stuck. He didn't complain. He didn't cry. He simply survived. But on a cold Thursday evening in late October, something happened that pulled him out of survival mode and forced him to feel again. He was walking along the sidewalk, hugging his thin jacket closer to his chest, hoping the cafe near Morrison Street wouldn't be too strict so he could sit inside for warmth without ordering anything. He checked his pocket, $15 in crumpled bills. Enough for a cheap meal or a blanket from the thrift store. He needed both, but he could only choose one. He sighed and kept walking, telling himself he would figure it out. He always did. Life didn't leave him much of a choice. Then he heard it. Soft, broken whimpers coming from a shadowed alley. At first, he ignored the sound. People cried all the time in alleys, in doorways, on sidewalks. Pain was everywhere, and Elias had learned that getting involved could make everything worse. But something in the cry pulled at him. Not human, softer, fragile, hurting. He stopped walking. The sound came again, this time weaker. Elias turned his head. There, beside a dented trash can, lay a small brown dog, its fur matted, one leg twisted unnaturally, its body shivering violently. Its eyes opened just enough to look at him, wide, scared, and pleading in a way words could never express. Elias's heart clenched. He stepped forward slowly, crouching beside the fragile creature. "Hey, buddy," he whispered. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The dog tried to lift its head but couldn't. Elias had seen this kind of injury before. Cars hit animals and rarely stopped. People walked past. Life went on. The thought alone made him feel sick. He reached out a hesitant hand, letting the dog sniff his fingers. Even in pain, it gave a faint, grateful wag of its tail. That tiny movement shattered Elias. He swallowed hard, blinking back the sting in his eyes. He knew what needed to be done. The vet clinic on Everett Street stayed open late, but they never treated animals without payment. And $15 was nowhere near enough. Still, he couldn't leave the dog here to die. Not in an alley. Not alone. Not like this. "I've got you," he whispered, lifting the trembling dog carefully into his arms. The tiny body pressed against his chest, searching for warmth. Elias held it tighter, the decision already made deep inside him. Anything he had, anything he could offer, he would give. He pushed through the vet clinic doors, breathless and desperate. The receptionist's eyebrows rose at the sight of him. His threadbare clothes, his tangled hair, the shaking dog in his arms. She opened her mouth, but he spoke first. "Please," he said. "He's hurt. I think his leg is broken. He needs help." The woman hesitated. He could see the uncertainty in her eyes. She'd probably seen people try to drop off injured animals without paying, seen others disappear before bills arrived, seen too many messy stories for one lifetime. But then she looked at the dog. Weak, quiet, fading, and her expression softened. "Let me get the doctor," she said. Minutes later, the veterinarian entered, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes behind her glasses. She approached Elias gently. "You brought him in." "Yes, ma'am." That was a brave thing to do. Elias shook his head. "I didn't know what else to do." She took the dog from his arms and rushed it into the back. For the next 20 minutes, Elias stood in the waiting area, twisting his fingers, pacing, breathing too fast. The receptionist watched him quietly. Her expression had shifted. Less suspicion, more curiosity, maybe even concern. Finally, the vet returned. "He's stable for now," she said. "A car hit him. His leg is fractured. Badly, but treatable. Without care, he wouldn't have survived the night. You probably saved his life." Relief washed over Elias, warm and heavy. He didn't care what it cost. He just cared that the dog would live. "How much?" he asked, already knowing the answer would crush him. The vet took a breath. "With X-rays, medication, and surgery, around $800. His stomach dropped. He barely had 15. I don't have that," he said, voice cracking from humiliation he tried to swallow. "But I can work, clean things, take out trash, anything. I don't want him to die." The vet exchanged a look with the receptionist, one Elias couldn't read. The woman behind the desk leaned forward. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Elias. Do you have family nearby?" He hesitated. "No. A home." He shook his head, looking at the floor. Silence settled over the room, heavy, empathetic, painful. Then the vet placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You did something today most adults wouldn't have," she said softly. "You put kindness above yourself. That matters. It matters a lot." Elias didn't know what to say. He felt both seen and exposed in ways that terrified him. "You don't need to pay," she continued. "We'll cover the cost." His head snapped up. "What? No. I can't." "Yes, you can," the vet said firmly. "Let us do this. It's our way of thanking you for caring when no one else did." Tears filled Elias's eyes before he could stop them. He turned his face away, embarrassed, wiping quickly with his sleeve. "Thank you," he whispered. The vet smiled. "Come back tomorrow afternoon. He'll want to see you." Elias left the clinic feeling lighter than he had in months. He didn't have money. He didn't have a home. But for the first time in a long while, he felt human again, like he mattered. Like maybe the world hadn't forgotten him completely. The next day, he returned. The dog was waiting for him in a small crate, tail wagging uncontrollably despite its bandaged leg. The vet handed him the leash. "He's your dog now," she said. "If you want him." "Want him?" Elias's chest ached with joy. "Yes," he said instantly. "Of course I do." He named the dog Chance, because that's what the little creature had given him, a reason to keep going. For weeks, they were inseparable. Chance followed him everywhere, limping beside him, sleeping curled against his chest at night, keeping him warm as the temperature dropped. People noticed them, because when a boy with nothing gives everything for a hurt dog, the world pays attention. One afternoon, as Elias sat outside a bakery sharing a donated sandwich with Chance, a woman approached him. She was dressed nicely, coat buttoned up, hair neat, eyes warm. "Is that your dog?" she asked. "Yes," Elias replied, straightening up a little. "His name is Chance. He seems very loved." Elias smiled softly. "He saved me as much as I saved him." The woman hesitated before speaking again. "I've seen you around this area for weeks. You're always kind to people. And to him." She paused. "Do you have somewhere to stay?" "No, ma'am, not yet." She nodded slowly, as if confirming something she'd already suspected. "I run a youth outreach center not far from here. We offer safe housing, meals, counseling, job programs. And emotional support. Animals are allowed. You and Chance would be welcome there." His breath caught. It sounded unreal, too good to trust. "Are you serious?" "Completely," she said. "You deserve a place to rest." Elias swallowed hard, looking at Chance. The dog wagged his tail encouragingly, as if urging him to accept. And for the first time in months, Elias allowed himself to hope. They walked together to the center. The moment he stepped inside, warmth hit him, literal warmth from heaters, but also emotional warmth from the staff and teens who greeted him with gentle smiles instead of wary glances. They showed him a room with a real bed, clean sheets, and a small dog pillow placed beside it. Chance immediately curled up on it like he'd been waiting his whole life. That night, lying on the bed with Chance snoring softly beside him, Elias cried silently, not from sadness, but from something he had nearly forgotten how to feel: safety. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Elias started counseling, attended school again, and eventually found a part-time job at the vet clinic, the same clinic where Chance had been saved. The veterinarian insisted he had a gift with animals. She wasn't wrong. One evening, after closing up the clinic, the vet approached him. "I have something to tell you," she said. "When you brought Chance in, you didn't just save him. You inspired us. Your story spread across the neighborhood. A donor heard about you and funded a scholarship program for teens who faced homelessness. And Elias, your name is at the top of the list." His heart stopped. "A scholarship?" "Yes," she said warmly. "College, veterinary studies, if you want. You have the heart for it." He couldn't speak. He just looked down at Chance, who wagged his tail proudly, eyes bright with trust. Elias knelt, hugging the dog tightly. "Thank you," he whispered, not just to Chance, but to the world, to fate, to every moment of kindness that had led him here. That night, Sitting beneath the gentle glow of a street lamp outside the center, Elias realized something profound. Compassion doesn't subtract from a person, it multiplies. He had given the last $15 he owned to save a dog. And in return, he'd received family, hope, education, purpose, and a future he'd never dreamed possible. All because he refused to walk past something suffering. Life didn't change all at once. It changed moment by moment, kindness by kindness, choice by choice. And it all started with a broken little dog in an alley and a homeless boy who still believed, even when he had nothing, that someone deserved a chance. And sometimes, a chance is all it takes to change everything.